All right, I'd like to get started on this one. As you can see, we lost this war, but we were up against uh, a really solid clan. They were well over 200 wins. We're in the, I think, in the 120s right now. So very experienced, some really solid attackers. These guys loved hogs. As I don't show the defenses, but these guys ran a lot of hogs at us and ran them really quite well. But anyway, I'm going to show a couple of these attacks here that I thought were interesting. So this is an unusual base, and Mark's running drags at it. Swan also looked at this, had a slight variation on this. But you'll see what you have to do here. There's some real kind of artwork involved in here. You carve out that first AD at 9 o'clock, then you carve out a little bit more of the defenses, and then you've got the town hall exposed. Drops that in with the freeze behind it. Really a well executed attack. So Mark had been out for maybe a week, I think, upgrading one of his heroes and getting ready for the holidays. I came back with a really, really nice attack here. And then the next attack, this was Zane. So this is Zane running a TH11. It's the only 11 we've got. And this is a variation on one of the bases that tends to give us a lot of trouble. This is really hard to two-star with dragons, particularly when both the air defenses are facing due north at 12 o'clock. I think the only person to have done it is Swan. Most people just go 1-star on it. And here, particularly with the help of that little Grand Warden there, keeping his troops alive, he had no trouble working his way through the top zone and getting a fair enough chunk of the bottom zone to make that work. And then Swan. So this is a dragon run going wrong. A lot of things went bad here. The idea wasn't bad. He was trying to carve his way in there with the heroes to get to that air defense. Got part of it, but didn't kill it. Killed the CC troops, so it wasn't a complete waste. But what you'll see happens is the drags slide bottom, and that was because of all the storages up top there between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So the way to have run this would have been to have overloaded even more dragons on the high side, and then they wouldn't have slipped around on this. This is one of the problems you have running dragons. But even so, still got 72% in 1-star, which is part of the argument for running drags. You hardly ever 0-star, although I 0-starred with them on this one. But that obviously wasn't this attack. I got 2 on this one, and I actually ran ground. I could have got this fairly easily, I think, with drags without a deployment problem. But instead, ran golems because I was trying to save up elixir to upgrade my freeze spell. And with the current update, trying to do that's ridiculously difficult. So not to whine excessively, but I rarely run ground with only one hero, and literally just got 50% on that one. So that worked out quite well, actually. So this was one of the particular attacks that has me here doing this. So normally, when you see P.E.K.K.A. versus this type of a city, it's going to go 0 to 1-star. The magic kind of secret sauce in here that makes this work are the 2 things that you rarely see here, and that's hogs and a heal spell. So this is an old time hog runner's trick. So he's got the hogs pretty much outside the range of the Inferno. Now they're starting to engage it, but he kept them alive long enough that he did what you need to do. So this defense it's basically a donut, and defense attacking units like golems tend to run around the donut. And so that's the real problem with it. You'll see the golem there. It's already gone past 6 o'clock. It's at 6:30, and still kind of wandering off in that direction. And the little golemites are doing that too, so they're wandering around. But meanwhile, the part of the kill squad that didn't get stripped off is going right up the middle, and that was the idea behind it. Those wizards up there at 3 o'clock are about to set off a bomb that wipes them out. But normally, what would happen is the whole attack would split around those two directions. This time it was just a couple of wizards that ran that way, and he was able to guide the rest up the middle. So really, really nicely managed attack there by John. Okay, so that was one of the two that you don't hardly see much. And then here's Swan just running a standard dragon attack. So this is actually how the other attack should have gone. So this isn't exactly standard. He sends both his heroes off on one side. Usually what we do with the suicide heroes is we send one down one side and the other down the other. But as you can see, there's a crossbow in ground mode. I'm pretty sure that's what he was looking at when he decided to just clean one side. And then he did what you have to do when you've got it uneven, is you overload the side that has more defenses, hold off on the drags on the other side, then you get them in a line, and the line just goes in unison across the base. A nice, really nice attack there. And I think that's what he was trying to do in the other one, but he just didn't get the hog or the drags balanced correctly. And then here's Ike. He got this city. This is the one I 0-starred. Easy 2-star drag, except for that little picket fence down there. I tried to deploy my hogs on top of that, or excuse me, my hound on top of that. It didn't deploy, and that gave the guy the opportunity to turn the attack into a 0-star. If I'd have got the hog in, easy 2-star on that if I got the hound in. But yeah, Ikelos runs a good attack here. He's got the jump at the right spot there. Freeze now, got the groups in, still has a couple wizards rolling. You want to get that freeze going just about the time they start to engage the wizards, or right before that. That's the timing trick there, and he timed it well. And then some of the 9s. So this is one of the other ones I particularly wanted to show. We don't see this much. 14 maxed Valks. So this is the Golem Valk attack, and as you can see, it's a pretty strong attack. He's got quite a few heals there. The Valks stay together pretty well. They're a well-managed group. Not typical behavior from redheads from what I've seen, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, ran through the city without any trouble whatsoever. And this is kind of interesting because this is the base Matt uses as his war base at a TH10. So really, he hardly ever gets 3-starred by 10s. And this is a 3-star by a 9 on the same layout. So that was kind of interesting. And then Justice had a really unusual mix here. 2 golems, that's normal. 4 witches, a little heavy. 3 P.E.K.K.A.s, but only 7 wizards in this one. And then he has 2 heals in the attack, a rage and 2 jumps. So the 2 jumps is normal, the rage is normal, but he went a little heavier on the big boys and a little heavier on the heal here. But there he's got the jump. He's got enough in there, even with that light group of wizards. He got him right on that dragon. So, man, that was critical, getting the wizards in. Oh, there's the rest of his wizards. He had the wizards in the CC. Okay, so he had quite a few there. That's why when I looked at that 7 of wizards, I was like, whoa, that's really light. But he does have them in there, and he's got the upgrades to them. So kind of makes sense that you throw in some sort of an upgraded unit over what you have, because he's still running Wiz 5. And I think you'll see here this Tesla does, it does get one of the P.E.K.K.A.s, but had enough to get it done. Okay. So those were the main ones I wanted to show. Here's Matt, really good giheho, running it as a 10 on a 9. Really does give you an edge. There he's got the poison, the rage, and he does the Chinese wall deployment. You'll see with giheho, there's 3 or 4 different ways to deploy the hogs, and we'll go through that. So Matt just put them all on one side in a wall, hence the Chinese wall. That was the same thing that screwed me up on City 8, was that little picket that wall that wasn't really a wall. It's just a bunch of fences spread out. So that's how Matt decided to run it here. Kyle, I think he sends all his hogs in a group too, but I think he sends them more in a stick once they come. No, he's got a little bit of the wall action that Matt had, but they reform into one group, and it's almost as if he was moving them as a stick deployment through there. And in the end, got it done. Still has his, in fact, he's even running this. He's running it with out his king, just the queen there, and the queen's, as you can see, pretty much at full health at the end. And then Whoop runs them. I think he runs them more like I do. He splits his hogs. I think you'll see that here. So he trips, gets the drag, couple freezes, or excuse me, a couple poisons. They're gone. And then there he does. So this is kind of how I tend to run them. I set the hogs off at an air defense or two, and then loop them around. So this is actually somewhat similar to John Perry's attack, because he's using the hogs to kind of break the donut on the outside. So that's another way to run it. That's why giheho is such an odd little attack. There's so many different ways to run it, and it's really hard to teach how you might do it. And then here's Fu. He went, I think, whiz crazy on this one. He had 29 wizards on this one. So he actually kind of spreads his group out. When I attack this city, I've attacked this a number of times, and I tend to overload one side or the other and then just kind of carve through. So because I'm right-handed, I'm more apt to come in here on this one at about 4:30 with the main force of the attack, and let them just kind of carve a circle through there. But this method also worked. And then Carter, he had a good attack there. We already showed you one of John's attacks. And Callie here, so this is Matt again. But here he's running giheho again, this time 9 on 9. And as is typically the case, you really want to get that archer queen early. That, as much as anything, decides where you attack from. And then after that, with the CC dead and the AQ dead, you've got a legitimate shot there of getting you 3 in here. You still had a couple wizards left, a couple of his original giants. Queen's pretty much at full health. King just a little bit down, so he ended up here in pretty good shape. Okay, that's probably enough for this war. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I may try and get some of our current war. We're really way ahead in the current war, but there were a couple of interesting attacks in there, and I want to get them down and posted. All right.